This is going to come down to a financial sacrifice by the city. Now, we could either be 1.2 billion broke, or we could be 650 million broke.
Councilmember Willie Davis delivering the hard bottom line on the consequences of 7 long years of kicking the can down the road on a contract with Houston firefighters. Settling the impasse will require the payment of $650 million in back pay and a guarantee of $180 million in wage hikes over the next 5 years. This week, Council learned the annual price tag to service the debt and fund pay bumps will be around $72 million a year through at least 2029.
Are we going to fee Houstonians? Is it a trash fee? Are we paying for parking after 6? Are we going after Metro's money? What are we doing?
Panel, the mayor suggested this week he may be compelled to make the case to taxpayers for their help funding public safety. All right, Charles, you were asking for these details, and now we got them. $72 million over and above what the budget is. Is that doable?
I mean, we'll see, and they're talking about levying new fines and fees and things to make it doable, but separate and apart from the $650 million number, the number isn't my primary issue. My primary issue is the fact that they're pursuing a strategy of not going to the voters to get this money. Now, it's in question whether or not they can do it, but there's no question whether or not they should do it. They should definitely bring this to the voters. This is a city that has brought voters in for everything from collective bargaining to charter changes for city council to drainage fees, zoning changes, everything people have had the opportunity to vote on. And we finally reached a resolution over one of the longest running labor disputes in this city, totaling more than $500 million. And the public has previously been brought into this, but now that we've reached a resolution, it's like we don't want to bring them in. And so I really think that that's a big mistake in not including the voters in this conversation.
Chow, do you agree with that?
Listen, I think that firefighters tug at the heartstrings of the public, right? And if this has been going on and, you know, they've come to us as voters, right, and asked us for things, referendums, etc., I think that the public will respond and say, give them their money. They've waited long enough.
Bill King, a question has emerged whether they can actually bypass the voters on a judicial settlement bond.
Yeah, the law is a little unclear, I think, on this, but I agree with Charles. I think it's a mistake. I do not think John ought to take this on his shoulders. He ought to go to council and make them vote. By the way, I was really irritated at council last week that all these people that sat there and voted time after time to spend millions of dollars keep kicking this down the road. So, wait a minute, we've got a problem. How are you going to solve this? What did you do before the new mayor showed up to get this problem solved? And the Houston Chronicle, the same way, their editorial. Well, how are you going to pay for this after they've, said nothing about it for years? But I think it's a mistake. If I were the mayor, I would absolutely insist that council vote up and down on this, and then I'd go to the voters and ask them to vote on it. And I think, by the way, council, and I think the voters will approve it. There's no reason for him to take responsibility for this when it's not a problem that he created.
Look, the firefighters are undefeated. They won on collective bargaining. They won on Prop B. You agree with that real quick?
Well, I was going to say, you go to the voters and ask them, do they want to raise taxes first? The answer is going to be no. They're going to say, do all the other things that this bright panel has talked about today first, and then if you still need money, then we can talk about it.
All right.